See, when beer, you want something stronger.
I quit drinking.
Let's begin where everything left us breathless. Monty's sudden collapse during what was meant to be a triumphant moment for him and Cammy. It wasn't just a medical emergency. It was a metaphor for everything falling apart. With Monty's fate still hanging in the balance, Season 2 begins under a thick cloud of uncertainty. And here's the thing. Landman doesn't hand us answers easily. It lets them simmer. It makes us wait. And in that waiting, tension builds like pressure in an oil well ready to explode. Cammy, played with unshakable strength by Demi Moore, is no longer just a supporting character. She's becoming the storm. Her husband's collapse was more than personal. It halted a major oil company sale that could have changed the entire landscape of West Texas. But now, Cammy has no time for grief. She's out for control, and that's exactly what makes her dangerous. In a world built by men and controlled by bigger forces, watching a woman like her take the reins is both thrilling and unpredictable. You never quite know whether she's about to save the company or burn it all down. And then there's Tommy Norris. If you thought Billy Bob Thornton had already given everything to this role, think again. Season 1 painted Tommy as a man on the edge, morally flexible, emotionally guarded, and always walking a tightrope between doing what's right and doing what keeps him alive. But now, the tightrope's gone. He's in free fall. The cartel's growing influence, corporate backstabbing, and his own haunted past have pushed him into a corner. And the most terrifying thing about Tommy is that he's most dangerous when he has nothing left to lose. Billy Bob once said Tommy is always sort of on the edge of things. But in Season 2, he's not just on the edge. He is the edge. And while he may not trust his own instincts, there's something compelling about watching a man wrestle with whether he's still the good guy or just another monster made by this ruthless world. Another thing fans are buzzing about is Angela. Her complicated history with Tommy, their emotional baggage, and that lingering, unfinished business between them. It's like a slow-burning fire that's ready to erupt. Season 1 gave us a glimpse into what once was, but Season 2 might just show us what still could be. Will they get a second chance, or will the ghosts between them drag both down? Let's not forget the cartel, the silent predator that's been lurking in the background, getting closer with every episode. Their involvement in the oil business wasn't a one-time twist. It's a deep-rooted operation, and in Season 2, we're going to see just how wide their reach really is. It's not just about money anymore. It's about power, territory, and eliminating anyone who stands in their way. And, unfortunately, Tommy might be in their way. The way Landman ties real-world industry with cinematic drama is what makes it such a standout. It's not afraid to show us the ugly truth beneath polished boardrooms and dusty oil fields. Greed isn't just a character trait. It's a virus infecting every deal, every relationship, and every choice made. And in Season 2, that virus is spreading fast. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, there's good reason to believe the show is aiming even higher this time. Even though Paramount Plus hasn't officially dropped a Season 2 trailer yet, multiple cast and crew leaks suggest filming began quietly earlier this year. And considering how Landman smashed viewership records in its debut season, pulling in nearly 15 million households in just 4 weeks, it's no surprise the pressure is on to deliver a sequel that's even more explosive. Whispers say Billy Bob Thornton is locked in, excited to dive deeper into Tommy's psyche, and that Demi Moore's role has been expanded due to her massive fan response. But not all the cast will be returning. The biggest shock? John Hamm's character is likely getting written off. And while some fans might mourn that loss, others, like me, aren't too broken up about it. His arc always felt slightly disconnected from the emotional core of the show. His exit might actually make room for more meaningful development for the characters we really care about. There's also a new cast member rumored to be joining, a younger energy exec with ties to both the cartel and the DC political world. If true, that would change everything. It means the stakes aren't just local anymore. The ripple effects of oil and corruption are going national. And Tommy? He might find himself battling forces even bigger than he realized. So now we're staring down the barrel of a second season that promises betrayal, heartbreak, redemption, and yes, probably a few more bodies buried out in the Texas dirt. Landman isn't just a drama. It's a mirror held up to a ruthless world. And with everything we know so far, Season 2 isn't just continuing the story, it's detonating it. In a world where men usually write the rules, Cammy is flipping the script. Season 2 puts her right at the center of the battlefield, not just as Monty's grieving wife, but as the new face of leadership in a collapsing empire. And let's be honest, we saw it coming. Cammy was never just a side character. She was always sharp, always watching, and always one move ahead. Now, with Monty's collapse shaking the ground beneath her feet, she's forced to step up. But here's the twist. She might be even more ruthless than Monty ever was. Everything that once made Cammy invisible, her quiet strength, her ability to listen, her grace under pressure, is now her greatest weapon. Because in a game where deals are struck in the shadows and enemies wear tailored suits, it's the ones who don't scream for attention who often strike the hardest. In Season 2, Cammy is that silent storm, and her path to power won't be clean. It'll be covered in oil, blood, and betrayal. Think about it. Just moments before Monty's health took a nosedive, Cammy was this close to pulling off one of the biggest oil sales in the region's history. That deal could have made her family untouchable. But instead, everything shattered. And she's not the type to walk away from a broken dream. She's the type to rebuild it from the rubble, sharper and stronger. Season 2 hints that Cammy won't just revive the deal, she'll reshape it entirely, possibly locking horns with former allies who no longer see her as the grieving widow, but as a genuine threat. Some fans are already calling for Cammy to become the show's new protagonist. And honestly, it makes sense. Demi Moore brings a gravity to the screen that's impossible to ignore. You don't just watch her, you follow her. Whether she's outsmarting oil execs in boardrooms or making dangerous midnight calls to dangerous men, you believe she's capable of anything. And that makes her rise not just believable, but exciting. She's not interested in playing by Monty's rules. She's ready to rewrite them. But the deeper she digs, the more enemies she unearths. One of the biggest questions surrounding Season 2 is who Cammy will trust. Because in this game, loyalty is always conditional. The people who shook hands with Monty might not shake hands with her. Some will try to manipulate her, others will try to eliminate her. But that's what makes her arc so intense. Every move could be her last, or it could make her the most powerful player in the region. Then there's the matter of Monty himself. Let's be real. If he survives, he might not be the man he once was. And that sets up a fascinating dynamic. What happens when a once powerful man watches his wife take over the empire he built? Does he support her, resent her, try to take it back? Their relationship, already strained by ambition and secrets, is now set to become even more complicated. And if Monty doesn't make it, then Cammy becomes the uncontested queen of a very dangerous chessboard. Let's talk about legacy. For a long time, Monty was the name people feared or respected. But Cammy, she's about to become a legend for an entirely different reason. She's not just managing an oil business. She's navigating a battlefield where every smile hides a knife, every deal is a trap, and every mistake could cost lives. Season 2 gives her a front row seat to the chaos, and maybe even the controls. But here's where it gets even darker. There are whispers, rumors leaking from the writer's room, that Cammy may make a shocking alliance. Someone completely unexpected. Someone tied to the cartel. Now, imagine the moral storm that would create, aligning with the very enemy that threatens everything her family stood for. That's not just risky, it's soul-wrecking. But if survival demands it, will she make the deal? This is the beauty of Landman. It forces its characters into impossible situations, then lets us watch them either break or rise. Cammy's storyline is shaping up to be one of the most gripping of the new season. We're not just watching her climb. We're watching to see how far she's willing to fall in order to rise. And that brings us back to the heart of this drama. Power doesn't come clean. Not in oil, not in business, and definitely not in West Texas. As Cammy charts her course through treachery, deals, and the haunting echo of her husband's legacy, fans should prepare themselves for a transformation that might shock even the most loyal viewers. So now, the question becomes, how much are we willing to love a character who might have to become a villain just to survive? If Cammy's rise means burning bridges, betraying allies, and blurring every line Monty swore to uphold, will we still root for her? Tommy Norris has always been walking a fine line between what's legal and what's necessary, between saving others and saving himself. But in Season 2, that line vanishes. What's coming for him isn't just danger, it's a war. The cartel is no longer a shadow in the background. They're moving in fast, and Tommy's time to act is running out. At first glance, Tommy might still look like the same,